What's up, landlords? Today is the 11th of August, 2024, and it looks like nobody's showing up so far. Maybe somebody will jump on here, but as planned, I'm going to go over my leasing process. It's 10 steps. And if anybody jumps on here, I'll just change what I'm saying and we'll just talk. But let me go over the first thing is listing. So, and as far as your listing goes, I have a basic template and then I also have an advanced template. And I'll just quickly summarize it without going into details. The basic template is pretty much what everybody does. They're like, let me look at it. It's this luxurious, elegant, stunning, spacious. They're using all these fluff words like real estate agents use. And it's a modern kitchen, stainless steel appliances, blah, blah, blah. And whenever I move over to the advanced, I take note that, for example, when you're listing on Zillow, they really only show you the first like 9 lines. So those first 9 lines are really important, and you have to actually click expand to see the rest of the description. So you really want to kind of catch their attention. So I'm kind of like, hey, search no more. There's a little bit of a rhyme here. It's like read, make sure we're a good fit, kind of read the whole entire description before requesting a tour. And bam, if they expand, they're going to see my requirements and it's all bulleted out. My fees, it's all bulleted out. And then the qualifications bulleted out. There's a little bit of like kind of some catchy talk in between. Trying to keep it like rhyme and unique and stand out a little bit. You don't have to do this, but when you're trying to get people's attention on the internet, it's kind of crazy out there. So it's kind of like, hey, let me do something a little unique and stand out. Also, I take serious pictures and I put watermarks on there. And then your feature photo should be like maybe like a twilight photo of the front if it's a single family house. And if not, like if it's like an apartment or like a duplex, or maybe the front is not so good and you want to kind of like not advertise that. Maybe you do have a really nice kitchen. You want to show a good feature and great lighting as your featured photo. Talks about the requirements, FYI, and then I point out some of the stipulations here. No subleasing, no month to month, no commercial vehicles, and just kind of like some extra stuff to really send home that this is like, I'm like really professional. There's standards here, and you have to make sure what you're trying to do is set the tone that, hey, this is a serious property manager. And that's what my on Zillow, I'm listed as the property manager. I don't list myself as the owner, and I have a picture of myself and everything, whatever. And at the very end, I have some miscellaneous. I say year, roof, HVAC, BBB accredited, and some bonuses with like some recent upgrades and stuff like that. So the point is I want to advertise that I'm a replicable business and a reputable business. I just need to say I'm a legitimate business, and you're not going to get like, you're not going to pull a fast one on me. Like, so if you list it and you got yourself listed as the owner and you kind of got like a little bit of a vagueness, kind of like you're writing it like, oh, request a tour, get back with me for answers, stuff like that. That's given that mom and pop vibe. And sometimes tenants that, might have malicious kind of intents, they're looking for mom and pop landlords. But if you present yourself kind of like a property management professional and you have a good product, you're going to attract a good, tenants. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I call it the plain vanilla business advantage. You just want to look and operate and talk and kind of walk like a legitimate business. It's hard for me to say that word, a legitimate business. And you basically give the good tenants a warm and fuzzy, and they're like, oh, I trust this person, because there's scams and stuff out there. I don't know if you guys know this, but part of the reason why you want to put a watermark on your photos is there's like Somalian pirates and like scammers and stuff that will steal your stuff. They make a listing using your same exact photos, and they list the rent really low. When people reach out to request a tour, they're like, yeah, pay us a application fee first before we show you it, and then just stop talking to the people. And it's like, really bad. The reason why I know that is because I monitor my rental markets, and I've seen some properties that were really below market. And I was like, what? And I reached out and I'm like, I'm trying to contact the owner. Like, I'm thinking it's a landlord. I'm like, hey, maybe I can help you out or something. Let's connect. And I call the number they have listed, and it's a cruise liner, like 1-800 cruise liner. Hit 1 for this package, could hit 2 for that package. And I'm like, oh, you freaking scammers, man. It's just, what a pain. Let me see. I just got an email. Did somebody jump on here? Nope. Still going. So that's step 1, the listing. I don't want to take up too much time, but I have all this listed out. I'm going to put it in the mini courses that I have in the classroom. I got the noob course, which I'll be giving the basic stuff, which is really quick and easy. Hey, just copy paste, whatever. And then a little bit more advanced stuff where it's going to, like, all right, you're going to have to set up a little bit. You might have to think a little bit harder and put a little bit more effort and be like more professional. But I want to be able to help people just starting out. Hey, just get going as quick as possible, and or I'm ready to take it to the next level and I want to do some advanced stuff. So I talk about in the listing, photos are really important. You want to maybe even consider doing a virtual tour if you recently did some rehabs and stuff like that and the place is looking really nice. Or if you intend to kind of do a rehab in the near future, maybe hold off on that virtual tour. And you could do it with your iPhone. I like Zillow. I could get into a whole talk about where and why I list in certain places and how to basically the experiments that I do is I want to list a property and I will only want to get a few highly ideal, interested applicants, people wanting to request a tour. I want to put a front out there to, hey, this is not, I don't have low standards. There's like, it's serious and only apply if you think that you're confident you're going to meet these standards. And I copy and paste a pre-leasing application to everybody. I just put their name on the top, copy paste, and I send the same exact thing to everybody. They have to complete this pre-leasing application, and then if they complete it, and my formula is my automation that's built in there. The formulas, I forget, I shared it somewhere, but it's basically these custom formulas that say if this, then that, and whatever. They got to get passed through everything, and I only get forwarded the most ideal people, reach out to them, and I do a group showing at one specific time. It's not a period of time. It's like, hey, it's at this time, who's showing up early, who's showing up on time, who's late. And then I have a checklist where I outsource it to a real estate agent, and I say, hey, I'll give you $100 if you do it. You can give your cards out and treat it like a networking event. If they buy a house, which many tenants do, rent for a while and then they decide to buy a house, maybe you can get some customers out of this. Anyways, back to that whole idea of like, hey, I don't want a whole bunch of applications. Like, I don't want a whole bunch of interests of a bunch of tire kickers is what they say, people that aren't interested. So I'm not advertising on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and I'm getting all these hits, and I'm reaching out to everybody and mitigating and you got to answer and satisfy the platform that you're on. For example, Facebook Marketplace, they want you to respond quickly because if not, they kind of penalize you a little bit. Craigslist is like, I don't even mess with that place. It's really like full of scammers. But Zillow, they're kind of strict about like putting links in there. They don't want you to kind of like, go outside of their platform. Also, they have their own agenda where they have the tenants will complete one rental application with them, pay $35 from them, and they can use it unlimited times for a 30-day period, I think. The issue with that is they're hitting request a tour, apply, or request a application to everybody. They're just click, and they're not even really reading the descriptions. They're just trying to like cast a wide net, and those are people that will waste your time, that are not serious. I want somebody that's going to read the description. Oh, he wants me. There's like little mini tests. Oh, he wants me to do this pre-leasing application. Oh, I'll do that. And then if they meet all the requirements, then I get a very ideal person. So I'm only talking to the most qualified people, or the real estate agent if you outsource it, because I know some people are long distance. Let me see if anybody else jumped in here. Looks like there's nobody in here still. Anyways, let's keep going. There's too much to talk about. I'm already going off on tangents. That's just the first step, which was the listing. The second one is the requesting. Requesting is what I referenced, where I basically copy paste everything. The basic people will be something like this. Hey, thank you for your interest. How soon do you want to see the place? And they start going right into requesting, arranging for them to show the property. And then the tenant's going to be like, oh, what about this? What about that? And can I see this? Do you accept section 8 and all this stuff? And I have a very rigid copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Everybody gets treated the exact same. And if you don't follow my rules, I don't ever talk to you. I don't see you. I'm treating everybody to the same standard. And I don't care what questions you have. I'm not even going to talk to you until you get all the way through my little preliminary questions and hoops and little mini tests and everything. And so the advance is like, I send an email, hello, in an effort to prioritize the high volume of messages we're getting. Oh, no, it's a copy paste template into Zillow, which I preferably use. You list on just Zillow, and it's the best thing for me because it saves me the most time and it's the most efficient. And I did a lot of experiments and testing with different things, and I've listed on other people, other platforms. And don't listen to anybody that says, oh, I use this or I use that without doing your own test, because everybody will be like, oh, in my market, Facebook Marketplace works good. And then they're like telling you that because I question, I'm like, did you really do a test? Did you try Zillow, or are you just like one of those like cheap landlords that are not going to spend like $20 or $30, whatever they give you to like advertise it, to really promote it out there? And I look at it this way: when people are on the marketplace looking for a rental, or when people specifically go into Zillow, there's only one purpose they're going there for: either buy a house or, in our case, rent a property. I'm trying to get to the most ideal applicant, most ideal rental tenant. So I got this spill to copy paste. Hey, here's the link. Go to complete this pre-leasing application. And then I got the custom formulas in here. I got it copy paste. So like if you want to copy and paste my stuff and build your own pre-leasing app, you can do that. Or I can actually just give you the one I have. If you do Zillow eForms, you got to pay for the basic, which is like $10 a month. And it's so worth it to me, because if you collect a sufficient amount for your rental application, you should be able to cover the cost for your whole entire year of using Zillow eForms. And it's a business expense, and it offers, there's so many like systems that come out of that, because I can put the lease online, I can put the condition, the move in, move out, and renewal condition form online, and now everything is all paperless. And then when a tenant renews, I say, hey, complete a new condition report, and they complete it all online with their phone, take pictures and upload stuff. Email alerts come to me. So this is all the systems, the infrastructure that I put in to really make this hands-off, real freedom. I can be an old man and I can tend to this. So I'm trying to get cash flow forever. So I really have to take this serious and build the systems. And also you guys may know that I worked in Iraq and I have to do hands-off and everything. So this is the only choice I had. All right. So what do I got here? I'm not going to read all this. And the group showings, I mentioned that. And all the stuff that I have here that that I have built for me, I've made it a second time. So I made it first when I did paper. I did everything paper forms and all that stuff. Then I made it a second time for myself online. And then I went ahead and made it a third time unbranded for examples to give to other landlords that join the school community and stuff. I'm like, hey, here's the blank version that you get. It has blank management because I don't have my name there. And you can even use my little castle logo if you want. Change the color, do a filter on it, write your words under it or whatever. So, all right, the next step would be inviting. So let's say they go through the pre-leasing application. I get the email that says, hey, this person completed the pre-leasing application and they've passed all my little like mini tests, like the formulas I have built in there, which is stuff like you have to be interested or willing to move within 2 weeks. If somebody says they check the thing and says, hey, I'm just looking, or I'm looking to move in a month, that one they'll continue to go all the way through and complete it. But I'm not going to get notified for that because I only want to deal with the most ideal people, like I said. But let's say one or two of them, change their plans or they don't apply or something like that. Then I can go into the form, go find the people that didn't meet my most ideal one and say, hey, I reach out to them individually. I say, hey, I noticed that you completed the pre-leasing survey. Thank you for that. But I just noticed that I did not get your application forwarded to me because you selected that you're not ready to move within a month. So is there any, I got a template somewhere and I forget exactly how I say it. Is there any way that you're willing to sign a lease within the next 2 weeks? Because then I can show you the property. If not, we're just going to have to kind of move along and thank you for your interest and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. And then sometimes whenever you, like in sales and stuff, you never want to be needy. And that's kind of one of those mini tests, keeping a position of power. You have your systems. If they want it, they follow your process. And a lot of times they're like, oh, wow, I got this opportunity to maybe get the place. And it's like a special kind of like deal kind of thing. So they kind of take action like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Maybe if we like the place, we can make it work. We can always sign the lease early and then we'll move. We'll take our time moving in or something like that. So under the inviting, so let's say they get all the way through, the basic would be like, hey, the showing is this date and time. Hope to see you there. And that's just kind of like a copy paste thing that you could put. But the more advanced will be like name. Thank you for completing the pre-leasing application. We are delighted to invite you to our showing on date, time. And it says, to confirm your attendance, please reply to this message, the word confirmed. And a parentheses. The reason why you do that, that's one of those mini tests. You want each every little interaction you have, you give them some kind of direction. And then also it's good for you because you're seeing that they can follow, the rules and listen and read and comprehend and follow everything. But it's also good for them because every step of commitment and every action they take, they get a little bit closer and more invested in the idea of renting your place. And this is, I've listened to so many audiobooks, and I was in sales and I'll listen to a lot of sales books and stuff. And all this stuff matters. People put a lot of time and effort into studying this, and they put it in books. And if you read it, you're like, oh, that's a great idea. How do I incorporate that into a landlording? For example, you're going through the drive-through. If you're asked anything else, and then you say something else, and you say anything else, and you're asked again, anything else, there's a reason why they're saying anything else, because they don't want to cut off the order. If they ask anything else, you might be like, well, give me one of those other things. They've tested this, and the corporation spends millions of dollars and realize words matter, and little micro commitments and all this stuff matters. So I kind of take that and I'm like, oh, how do I use this and everything? So that's just basically what I'm doing here. And some people are like, oh, this is too much effort. But once you build it once, it's a copy paste kind of thing. Also, I attach a little picture of the property, and if it's a neighborhood that you turn into the neighborhood and then you go down and it's a cul-de-sac and then the property's there, or maybe it's a neighborhood where there's alleys, so you have to turn and go around behind the address. I always like to put like an attachment of an aerial overview map with a little blown up picture of the front of the house where they can remember what it looks like, because people remember it, with the address, and a little dotted line, kind of like a Google Maps thing that goes right to it. And it just broadcasts this like professionalism, and it gives these prospective tenants, if they're good tenants, which is the ones you want, it gives them a warm and fuzzy, like, wow, this management company is doing a great job. And I got notes and other things, and here's the template that I have for, like, let's say somebody doesn't get passed through those the automation for the online e-form. You can go in and you can reach out individually to the ones that got kicked off to the side. It says, unfortunately, we do not hold units. Your pre-leasing application did not get forwarded to me because you selected later, more than 2 weeks out. On the question about how soon are you looking to move, I'm reaching out to you to see if you're willing to sign a lease on the 1st of next month. If so, we can schedule a showing with you. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we are not a good fit at this time. Thank you. And that's that push-pull kind of thing that a lot of sales books will talk about. You don't want to be needy and stuff, and you don't want to sell people stuff they don't need, and you're actually doing people a disservice when you're trying to sell everybody everything, no matter what. So there's just some situations you speak to people and that's just not a good fit to them. So you're like, okay, thank you so much for your time. Here's my card. Maybe you can, reference me or share me to somebody else and move along. And you're actually serving that person better by not selling them something. All righty. I think that was inviting. So now, oh, the day of the showing, the basic will be like, hello, nice to meet you. Go ahead and take a look and look at the property. Let me know if you have any questions. And you just let the people just walk into the property and do your own thing. Not on my watch. I have a more advanced process where it's like you're meeting the person and I have a sign-in sheet and you want to take a little micro commitment. Hey, please put your name and your lease term, your desired lease term right here, sign right there. Because some people might want a 1 year or a 2 year. And I optimize for more hands-off kind of management. So if two people are highly qualified, and they probably both will pass, but one says they want 2 year, I'm going to start screening that person first. And if everything checks out, then I'm going to say, okay, I approved them. And I'm just going to move along because they're willing to sign a 2-year lease. And also I have a question sheet. Oh, and I also have like a check sheet for a showing checklist that you could send to a property manager or a real estate agent or a handyman or maybe a friend or family. Anyone in the area that's willing to do the showing for you if you're not local. And it tells them everything. It's all laid out. It's like, oh, step 1, step 2, what to do. Show up early, turn on all the lights and turn on the fans, open the blinds and flush the toilets, close the lids. And I mean, just detail, make a system. And then once you get it done, it's so easy to just kind of send the resources out. And then once you find somebody that's good, you just keep reusing a person. They don't really need it after a while, but you can keep sending it to them. But I also use e-locks, so I don't have to deal with a key. So I'll part of that checklist will be like, hey, here's the code. And then you have a link to show them how to use the e-lock if they don't know. Here's basically some stuff. Oh, you lower the thermostat, turn on all the lights, open the blinds, switch towards, already said that. Dirty air filter. I want them to check the dirty air filter, see if there's any leaks or trash or anything. Check for runny toilets, low batteries, any insects or pests and stuff. So there's like an opportunity for them to kind of like, check out the place a little bit. Tall grass, burnt out lights, any broken mirrors, windows, or anything like that. The questions to ask. And then they have the website with FAQs if they have any more questions beyond that. And then when you leave, what to do. I mean, it's just super detailed checklists. I mean, I was in the military and in the Air Force, there's lots of pilots and everything, and checklists is what they live by, because when you're flying multi-million-dollar planes and stuff like that, human error is like a thing, and you accidentally forget, even though they're these trained, really smart pilots, they still have a checklist and they have to go, hey, taxi at this speed. And did I do this? And did I do that? Landing gear and all this other stuff is way over my head. But if they're using it, I should definitely use it for landlording. All right. So which one? That was the showing step. Next would be applying. The applying, I got a basic one, which will probably be maybe you don't even have your own application. I don't know how that goes, or maybe you use some kind of software or something. But the advanced would be definitely an e-form and collecting payment for each application or applicant that's 18 or above. I use Appfolio, so I made a replica of that. So if anybody wanted to use the e-form version of that, which you can collect all the same exact questions, and you can charge for your application fee. Let me go back to how Zillow operates. When you use different platforms, the reason why first I'll talk about Appfolio. The reason why I like Appfolio is because they're the biggest and baddest and the best. They have the most systems and automation, everything, and nobody's buying them out anytime soon and changing up everything. They're in it for the long term and they're amazing. But people bought in Cozy, and then they got bought out by apartments.com. And then let's say you get some deal and somebody's starting their own property management software and they want to give you a free slot to try it out and advertise it. They got their own things that they're optimizing. They could change the rules. They can get bought out and all kinds of stuff. So when it comes to your online form, and when you're thinking that idea of different property management softwares, think about Zillow. Zillow has their own my side bias, which means everybody is trying to, do stuff that benefits them. So Zillow's it seems like they're playing both sides of the landlord side and the tenant side. So they're like, oh, look at this amazing service. And they're collecting $35 from all these people that want to find rentals. And they're like trying to see if the landlords will use this feature, which is, it's kind of convenient, especially if you don't have your own infrastructure. But the problem is you don't get to control the questions. You don't have control over the system, so they can change the rules of the game and stuff. And also they have that problem where like everybody's just clicking apply, and they're not even paying attention. It's just like, okay, they're reusing the same thing and they're not, you don't have control. So some examples that I've learned this in life and other things is like when you have a right, you have some kind of like luxury or some kind of benefit. When you lose that, the chances of you ever getting that back are slim to none. And then most likely what happens is you'll lose more and more and more. And I've been audited by the IRS and it feels just like, oh my gosh, you have no power. And it's just horrible when people like pull the rug out from under you. So the best advice I have is every instance that I can is keep control of the things you can as a, do-it-yourself landlord. And that goes back to either having the best property management software you can, or online forums, or just at least understanding that idea, because you can kind of pinpoint the issues you might be having. Why are all these people requesting and not showing up, or are just looking and leaving and stuff? It's because they're really not vested in your property and you haven't did good enough job to entice them. It's just like sales. You really have to do a lot of work and effort and give people a warm and fuzzy. And you don't want to just let them go off and inside and just look around. No, you need to go in there and sell the place. You got to ask the right questions. You got to get to understand them. They want to ask you questions and stuff. That goes into my advanced section of the showings. I talk about a little bit about passive effort and active efforts. There's certain blah blah blah. Too much for this. Let me see. Anybody else joining? Yeah, I'm just probably gonna, even if somebody joins, I apologize. I'm just not gonna look anymore because I'm already off to the races here. Let me do the screening real quick. So the basic screening might be like, having a call or trying to get to them and meet them in person. Because I know some mom and pop landlords talk about, oh, they're just such a nice person. They seem like genuine people, and they do their own like kind of like winging it style of like, screening the people to see if they're good people and get a good vibe from them. Man, people can lie. You'll never know. Trust but verify. So on the advanced thing, you definitely want to take your screening super serious. And the cool thing I like about Appfolio is they have a built-in process of verifying the income where I don't have to do anything. And here's where it gets messy with, small mom and pop landlords. If you are going to verify the income on, let's say, a small business nearby, you can call them up and talk to the boss or whatever. You got permission from the tenant. Hey, they're applying. I just want to make sure they work there. You just got to be careful to make sure that the tenant's not pulling a fast one over on you. So whatever number they give you in the application, you actually Google the company and try to see if you can find them that way. And then you say, hey, does this person work there? Okay, they're applying. I'd like to talk to HR, the boss or whatever. Just verify a few things. But the problem that you're probably going to run into is there's websites now where companies they're wasting too much time dealing with all these income verification letters and people wanting to know if somebody's employed, income verification, all this stuff. So they've now outsourced that. These will actually charge money for people. Look up theworknumber.com. And I've already got some notes here that I was going to do a video on where you actually have to pay to be a part of the worknumber.com, and it costs money. So this is another example why you need to charge a good adequate amount of money for your application. Even if you're going to use Zillow's thing over there, I would still do my own and make them pay my own for like $100 per applicant, because you might run into a situation where this company uses the work number and you call and you're like, hey, I'm having trouble verifying, the income or the employment of somebody. They're like, yeah, go to myworknumber.com and then look us up and you can go through there. And then you go to work number and you realize, oh crap, here are the steps. You've signed up for a package. If you're going to do one or more verifications per day, or one or two per week, or one or two per month, or one or two per year, you buy the different packages, and there's actually steps on how to apply. You can't just do it right then. They need to make sure you are a property management company and you have an account and they know who you are and you log in everything. And it takes like some time to verify that. So yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just going off on a tangent, but there's a big difference between the basic and advanced, and there's workarounds for everything. We can talk more if you show up to these calls, if you got questions. And the point here that I want to make is whenever you have to take action to deal with an issue, you should approach it with systems thinking and try to figure out a way to fix it one time forever, for all time. So like, oh, as I'm dealing with this process, should I do a video? Can I write this down? Can I take notes? How do I figure out a way to bypass this? Or is there another way I can completely skip this altogether? Like what I do, I don't even collect security deposits anymore because I've kind of got tired of all those like rules you got to jump through and all the deductions. And we could talk more about that another time. But I'm hoping you guys get a sense of like my hands-off style, which I like to call self-service management. I want to partner with the tenant. I look at them as being somebody that is very valuable. They're my customer, but I want to partner with them and we have a mutual benefit. And when I'm here to help them solve their problems in any way I can, give them resources, build them up, and kind of treat it like, self-checkout at like the grocery store. But you need to give them tools and equipment, and you got to make the process super simple for them to do that, because you would never expect anybody to, put all their groceries on that thing and turn the button on and bring all the groceries down and then walk around and then start scanning it and then know how to click all the buttons and then charge themselves and everything like that. And then they go around the other side and bag everything. That's too complicated. You can't make them use the same exact system that you operate on. You actually got to make it extra easy, super simple to where, they can go up and just like figure it out. And if they have questions, you can help them. All right, that's screening. Accepting basics, like congratulations, you have been approved. We'll be in contact to the next steps. But the advance is more like, hey, acceptance letter, name, congratulations. We are pleased to announce that you have been approved at this address. What comes next? And it's like, blah, blah, blah. Check out the FAQs. Here's this link and everything. And it's just like more effort. You have to have some infrastructure. Let me see what's next. Oh. Okay, the pre-leasing or the pre-move-in. Pre-move-in, basic and advanced. Okay. So the advanced one, the basic will be like, whatever. Maybe you don't even have one. But the advanced we'll talk about if there's an HOA, how to set up your online portal, how to pay all funds before getting access to the unit, getting insurance. And a lot of times landlords throw around, renter's insurance. You can't legally require a tenant to have renter's insurance that covers their own personal belongings. However, you are legally allowed to require a tenant to carry what's called liability to the landlord's property up to $100,000. And that's another like really cool advanced kind of thing that I learned from Appfolio, because they have this process. If somebody does not purchase renter's insurance that meets or exceeds this $1,000 minimum liability to the landlord's property, it automatically enrolls them in this, and it's built into the lease. It's an addenda, and they will be charged extra like $15 a month if they don't provide it. And let's say it gets canceled for any reason, because that's another thing you have to do. If they provide it, you got to verify it, because sometimes they'll go sign up for a policy and then cancel it right away, so they don't have to pay the rest of the year. And the reason why you have to be listed as additional interested party is because you don't want to be insured, additional insured. No, you just want to be interested, because that lists you on the policy so you can call up to verify. Because if you try to call up and verify and you're not listed as additional interested party, they're gonna like, who are you? Oh yeah, you're not on the policy. I don't have authorization to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. See you later. And these are like really advanced level things that most landlords starting out don't know about, and you could get into trouble. And it's really good to just like, if you're starting out or you learn this stuff, just like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Cool. Let me just implement it into my process, solve that problem, and never have to worry about it again, and just move on. Talk about transferring utilities. And then I have a template. Here's a good example of how do you solve a problem one time so it is forever and you don't have to deal with it again. So when I do this move-in checklist, I got different properties in different areas. They're all in the state of Florida, fortunately, which is good for me, because it helps make it a little bit simpler with like, you know, LLC structure and taxes and all that stuff and whatever. So I decided, systems thinking, how do I create a move-in, you know, checklist that's the same for all my properties? So then I had to think really hard. Oh, okay. So I list out community name. Then I say power company, you know, phone, you know, internet, cable, whatever. And I got the links for that company or for that neighborhood. Then the next neighborhood, it says, oh, this neighborhood has power company, gas, and so on and so forth. And then I got my third neighborhood, which is this and all the links. So they're going to, all the tenants will get one email and they have to pick their community, their neighborhood, and they'll know that easily and have to mess with it again. So yeah, I hope this stuff is helpful. P.S. Completing the move-in checklist is crucial. Please confirm as soon as possible. That's another little micro thing that I'm trying to get them to acknowledge that they've read this and they're going to see it. Always little micro commitments, little tests in it. And once you have this built into your templates, you don't forget it, you know? It's pretty amazing. Pre-move-in. So let's go back. Now we got the move-in. Okay, on the move-in, you got your basic, whatever, however you want to say. But the advance is probably got the move-in package and codes. Do I got links to show them how to use the e-locks and everything? And let me go into this email. Hello, welcome to your new home. We hope it becomes a cherished part of your life and you never want to leave, because I like tenants that stay a long time, and I'm always going to do little jabs like that. I never want to leave, and how do I keep you forever and kind of stuff like that. Anything I can do to help you, what, you know, and I'm always constantly interested in their well-being and what makes them happy, because I want them to stay longer. Because if you go through a lot of effort and you pick a good quality tenant and you make them happy and they want to stay there and you want to keep them, it's just great mutual benefit, man. It's awesome. Anyways, I give them the unit access codes, the e-lock, the garage keypad. If there is a code for the alarm, because some of the houses, actually all of them but one, has alarm. It's a security alarm that's a feature of the home, and there's a clause in the lease that talks about, hey, you know, we're not liable for this stuff, but it's a feature that makes people feel safe at their house, which is better than people like sticking all the things and putting their own, you know, security alarm up and then tearing it down and or leaving it. I talk about garage remotes that are left in the kitchen, or the mailbox key that's left in the kitchen, your Wi-Fi password, because some of the properties, one of them has internet. I give them a link how they can look up the trash and recycling. I was actually thinking about giving them a link for the paint colors, just for the want to touch up paint, and like I'm always kind of trying to think, how do I get to the next level and all that stuff. And then please complete the moving condition report as soon as you get inside, when it's easiest, when the place is vacant. And I give them a link so they can do that online. All right, that's moving. All right, final step, which should be step 10, the post move-in, which you got to set alarms and reminders so you don't forget this stuff. But the automation workflow, that's kind of something I'm working on, where once I get a new tenant, I'm going to copy and paste them into this automated workflow where it sends out a resident reminder every month, which is stuff like, you know, how to, you know, clear the drain line, videos that I've made on the self-service property management website, where it shows demos of, you know, regular household maintenance, you know, trying to help the tenants succeed and things. So, you know, how to winterize. I got like some videos coming for that, how to clear the drain line, change the air filter, you know, dryer vents, you know, other things. I got a note here, remember to drop them in that. I got some placeholders there for that. Talking about like transferring utilities, you know, updating the mailing address, make sure if they haven't already completed the move-in checklist, the condition report, do it here, blah, 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 just a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm hoping my throat, my voice is going. So I've been on here for a little bit. I think I'm just going to end it. But that's pretty much just a quick overview of how I operate with my systems and everything, and maybe get a sense of my hands-off style, the self-service management, some things that I referenced. And it might seem like overwhelming because I don't want to discourage anybody with like, oh wow, good for you, you got all this fancy stuff, but I'm really not that smart, and I'm really not like all special and stuff, and I've just figured it out by just a little bit effort, and I'm committed to this forever. So that's the only reason why I've even figured out some of this stuff. It's because I'm just like, all right, I'm going to do this forever. I'm going to be a landlord forever. How do I keep the properties forever? Okay, so now I want to make it super easy. So the easier I make it, the better it'll be when I'm older, and I don't want to devote time to this. And then I'm just like, well, how do I do this? And I've clicked in and I've figured out all this. I've done testing. I've had like 4 different business bankings. I've had like 5 different like online e-phone, what are they called? Voice phones, voiceover, what do they call them? Internet phone numbers or whatever. Man, I've just done so much, and I just keep trying an effort and just keep trying more and more effort. And then, oh, wow, I found something that works. It's good. I'm going to keep using that. And that's what I'm here for. I'm hoping you guys enjoy this. And please, will you participate a little bit in the community, ask some questions. There's not much action, and I'm actually starting to think like maybe I'm going to prepare some questions and message somebody specifically and say, hey, I was thinking about maybe asking this, but here's some stuff. Would you mind asking it? So like, maybe if you ask it, other people will participate, because right now it's just looking like just me just constantly putting stuff on the discussion, the community. So anything you can think of, questions, it'd be great. If anybody wants to get on a Zoom call, like maybe a Meet the Landlord video, let me know. And or just attend the next Landlord Live or Landlording Live, and we can go from there if you have questions. Thanks for showing up. See you guys. Bye.